Good morning. I couldn't hear y'all. Good morning. That's so much better. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. We're excited to see you this morning. I know it's a little chilly in the gym, but I love the way everybody's sitting close, and hopefully it'll warm up here pretty quick. I'm Jenny Cheatham. I'm head of the high school, and we want to welcome you to the January Alumni panel. This is one of our favorite programs. We're thrilled to have all of you here. Thank you for getting up early on your break to share with our students and some of our parents some really awesome experiences and some tips and pointers for our kids. We are thrilled that you all are here. We want to make a special welcome to some of our 8th grade parents who we've invited to be a part of our presentation this morning. So welcome to our parents. Teachers, welcome back. We're excited to see everybody. It's my honor and privilege. And first, you all help me as she walks up. Thank Miss Debbie Knox, who's going to be our moderator for our program, but also obviously for organizing an amazing event. So thank you for being here, Miss Debbie Knox.
Hi, good morning. I'm Debbie Knox. I'm the Director of College and Career Advising here at Shelton School, and I have the honor of getting to moderate this wonderful panel of students who graduated from Shelton a few years back. So, first of all, I want to thank you all for being here and welcome you. And I will introduce each one of them as we go along. I'm going to ask them individual questions, and then at the end we'll have some time where they can answer group questions. So first of all, we have Hannah Harmon. Hannah, will you stand up for just a sec? Hannah is currently attending Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. She is majoring in sports management. Hannah, can you tell us what a major is, just to start us off?
So pretty much a major is something you want to focus on, or like your career, and your major will help you get to that career in the future.
Perfect. So she's majoring in sports management. She graduated from Shelton in 2020. Hannah, tell us about your learning difference and the accommodations that you receive in college.
So my learning differences are ADD, reading comprehension, and dyslexia. And my accommodations have like extra time, note-taking, a quiet space for my test. That's about it.
So Hannah also participates in a program at Texas Tech called the Techniques Program. Can you tell us a little bit about the Techniques Program and how that's different from other colleges, what they have to offer?
So the Techniques Center, you have one-on-one tutoring. They select your tutor just for you and will help you obviously with your classes and accommodations, so they completely understand how you learn, and then you'll have a counselor you'll meet with them once a week just to have like a checkup to make sure you're on course.
Is that one of the reasons you chose Texas Tech?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So some schools all schools offer support for students who have learning differences, but some colleges will offer an additional level of support, and Texas Tech is one of the schools that offers that through the Techniques Program. You'll hear about another program called the SALT Center when we talk to Max at the University of Arizona. So tell us what organizations you're involved in.
So I'm an intern for Texas Tech Athletics. I do promotion and fan engagement for athletics. So I get to have access to the field, arena. So just pretty much getting to run activities during halftime, timeouts, commercial breaks, and stuff like that.
What do you hope to do with your major when you graduate?
I'm hoping either to stay in Lubbock and work for Tech, or come back to the DFW area and find a team here to work with.
Nice. Okay, thank you, Hannah. Okay, our next panelist is JD Zaza. JD is currently attending the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He's majoring in news media with a concentration in sports. JD graduated from Shelton in 2020. JD started his education at Northwest Florida College. JD, can you please tell us why you started at Northwest Florida College and what type of college that is?
It's a 4-year college for usually Army veterans who are trying to get their degree. The reason I went there is because, one, it was 2020, the weird year, and then, and it was a lot cheaper than Alabama. So I went there for a year, just took the simple credits like English, history, just the core stuff. And then after a year, I transferred to Alabama.
Okay. So you basically started there to get some of your basic coursework out of the way. Probably a lot of courses were online at that time. So rather than spend the money at University of Alabama, you spent less money by attending this college and then transferred into Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your learning differences, and talk about the accommodations you receive in college?
I have dyslexia with reading comprehension being my biggest issue. The two accommodations I usually use are extra time on tests because college tests are long, and then online textbooks, just easier for me than paperback.
Okay. All right. And has it been difficult to access accommodations in college?
Not really. If you go out and get accommodations, it won't come to you. You have to go to the building and then say, "Hey, here's my forms. I have dyslexia. Can I have these accommodations that my doctor said?"
So the building that you're talking about is probably disability services.
It is.
It may be called something different at different colleges, but like I said, every college will have disability services, and that is the place where you will go to access the accommodations. But you have to schedule in advance, right, to get extra time on tests?
Yeah, you have to schedule, like, usually they have a syllabus where it's like they tell you the test. You have to usually like a month in advance. And if they change dates, that they're very easy to change dates for maybe a quiet room. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of following your syllabus, talking to your professor.
So it sounds like you have to be pretty organized, though, to make sure all that happens.
Yeah, time management is big in college.
Okay. All right. And then what have you done to help yourself be successful other than meet with your college professors, work with disability services?
Just getting involved with whatever. Again, going into not having dorms and not doing that, I had to get involved with all the clubs, the interns, and then all the work, and I've met people there.
So let's back up a little bit. When you first started college, you weren't in a dorm. Is that correct?
No.
So did you live in a house? Did you rent a house?
Yeah, I had a little house near Northwest Florida. I just drove there it was like a 20-minute drive, and then took classes there and then drove back because
Okay.
that college didn't have dorms.
So that way, like you were saying at Alabama, it just made it a little bit harder to get involved and get to know people.
Yeah, so
So tell us some things that you're involved in.
I'm involved with the Crimson Tide Productions, which is pretty much everything for sports. It's behind the scenes, like all the cables, all the cameras, the replay. Then I also intern at Tide 100.9, which is a local radio show in Tuscaloosa where I learn how to produce radio, and then I write for the radio.
Awesome. So what do you hope to do with your major when you graduate?
I hope to just find a team to cover. Hopefully DFW area, maybe Tuscaloosa, wherever a job takes me.
Okay. Thanks, JD. Okay, next we have Maddie Orndane. And Maddie is currently attending the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, Arkansas. She's majoring in fashion merchandising. Maddie graduated from Shelton in 2021. Maddie, can you please share with us what your learning difference is and the type of accommodations you receive in college?
So my only learning difference is ADHD. There's a center called the Center of Educational Access at the University of Arkansas, and it was actually very easy for me to get them. You don't even have to go in person. You can fill out a form online. And I actually just described my learning difference, maybe told them what I was prescribed by my doctor, and they gave me a list of options. In college, when you're taking classes, you take different courses every semester. And what I found is helpful is that they give you different ones for each semester. So you have all of the options, and you can choose specific ones for each course.
So, for example, what are some of the options that are available to you?
So I have document conversion where they convert your textbooks to online, and then I like to use this app called Speechify, and it reads it to you. I have brief breaks. I can leave class when I want to. I have extra time or double extra time I can choose. And
So you review that every semester with them?
I do.
That's good. That's good. So how important would you say it is to get those accommodations in place before you start college?
Very important. I would say go online or call, and I would definitely keep them ready for you before you start because you don't want to start without them.
Mm-hmm. So seniors, those of you who have already made your choices for colleges this year, we've talked about one of the most important things is for you now to register for disability services through whichever college you're planning to attend. That way you can have them in place before you go to orientation and before you even start your first course. So that's an important thing to do before you even leave Shelton. Okay, so Maddie, let's see. Have you had any trouble getting your accommodations in college?
Not at all. They were actually very helpful, and they helped me choose. I didn't even know what to ask for, to be honest.
Well, that was
in
another thing I
college.
was going to bring up. A lot of times, we hear students say, well, I don't need accommodations because I've never received them. And many of you have been at Shelton for a really long time, so you may not understand the level of accommodation that you're receiving here at Shelton. So it's important that you understand that before you even leave this place. Your teachers and your advisors can help you. If you're not sure, I don't know the accommodations I'm getting, then sit down and talk with your advisor or your teachers to find out, because for every class, you are receiving accommodations, and it's important that you know what those are when you leave here and that you're able to articulate that. That's why we do that at your conferences that we have. Okay, so let's see. You shared with me that you're a member of a sorority. Can you please share with us what a sorority is and what types of things that you do within that organization?
So a sorority is a Greek life organized program. So you've probably heard sorority or fraternity. So each sorority has its own philanthropy, and I'm in FIMU at the University of Arkansas. Our philanthropy is Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. So one of my favorite events, which is also a philanthropy event, is Miracle Man. So we actually get to choose girls in our sorority to teach the fraternity brothers from each fraternity a dance or a performance. And then they get to perform it for money. So I think the funniest one was when they dressed like the Mean Girls and did the Mean Girls dance in girl dresses. And then another cool thing that I got to do was be a part of a ministry, and it's Greek Life Organized. So here in Dallas, Texas, I got to attend an event it's called STUMO, so it's SMC, Student Ministry Conference. And I got to stay in a hotel for like 4 nights and just learn about my faith with other Greek life members from all different colleges, like even across the world.
Has it been hard to balance your time with academics and
Yes.
Greek life?
Yes, very hard.
So
I
what have
would use your planner a lot.
You what?
I would use your planner.
Use your planner a lot.
Yeah.
So time management is something that is completely different in college, isn't it, than how it is in high school?
Oh, yeah.
So how do you organize your day?
Sometimes I don't, but I would say I use my planner and I go to class and I just kind of read it day by day. If I don't get things done in the right time manner, I always freak out that I'm not going to get them done, but there's always time. And I don't know. I'm working on it still for sure.
Okay, good. Thanks, Maddie.
Yeah.
All right, Parker. Our next panelist is Parker Crumrine. Parker is currently attending High Point University in High Point, North Carolina. He's majoring in sports media. That's kind of a theme with this panel. Parker graduated from Shelton in 2021. Parker, can you tell us about your learning difference and how you access accommodations in college?
Yeah, so I'm ADHD, I'm dyslexic, and I also have an auditory processing disorder. And essentially, really, how I really access my accommodations is through accommodations office called ORS. And essentially, I kind of just, fill out my paperwork, what I need, and I kind of just really submit it to them, and they're basically required by law to give me the accommodations.
So how do you get those accommodations, though? And tell us what your accommodations are.
Okay, so my accommodations are extra time on test, like a reading assisting technology too. And then just really the ability to, I think, preferential seating's another thing. And really, I kind of just really get those accommodations by really advocating for it. I think that's the big thing, and I think that's really been a theme, with our other panelist speakers has been accommodations, really just really self-advocating for yourself.
Can you kind of explain that a little bit, self-advocating? How do you do that?
So really the way you do that is really kind of speaking up really for what you want, and I think a lot of times, really here at Shelton, like as a student, I was able to, like receive a lot of, those accommodations without even knowing it. I think, you really alluded to that earlier is the idea that, it's a kind of a different deal in college, where you have to go out and really self-advocate for yourself for that. Yeah.
So did you do that by meeting with your professors individually?
Yeah. So, I would meet with them individually. But also additionally, I really just kind of, as I said, I went and I filled out a form. I listed all of my accommodations that I needed, and specifically, they were required again to really provide that for me.
So did you also have to be organized in setting up in advance, like an extra time on a test?
Absolutely, yeah. So my school, you have to do that basically 4 or 5 days before you take an exam. And then for like midterms and finals, it's like a week or two. So it's just one of those things that doesn't usually take long if you know how to do it, but you got to prioritize it in your schedule for sure.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Good advice. Can you please share with us any student organizations that you're a member of?
Yeah, so I'm a member of my fraternity, Pi Kappa Phi, and then I'm also a member of a sports broadcasting club called SportsLink, and then another sports media club called National Sports Media Association, NSMA.
What do those organizations do?
Yeah, so my fraternity, Pi Kappa Phi, essentially kind of similar to what Maddie was outlining with her sorority. We have so many different components. There's the social side, but there's also the philanthropy side. Our philanthropy side is actually very unique. It's called the Ability Experience, and essentially it's kind of serving people that, have intellectual disabilities. So for me, as someone that has ADHD and dyslexia, it's something that really, was resonated with me quite a bit. So.
What about the other organizations that you were talking about?
Yeah, so the other organization, SportsLink, is essentially, as I said, a sports broadcasting club, but it's also a club, where you can work production, you can work behind the scenes, you can work camera. It's just a very multifaceted club for sports media majors to really get really world hands-on experience as to what they would be doing in the real world.
Mm-hmm. And what do you hope to do with your major when you graduate?
Yeah, so I have an interest in that, but I also have an interest in the PR side. So, possibly, working PR for a team would be a lot of fun. So,
what's PR?
Public relations. So essentially it's maintaining the image or brand of a specific organization or company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next we have Shay Gallardi. Shay is currently attending Southern United Methodist University in Dallas, Texas. She has a double major, one in applied physiology and sports management, and one in applied physiology and health management. She graduated from Shelton in 2021. Shay, you didn't start at SMU initially. Where did you start, and when did you go to SMU?
So I started at Dallas College last fall. I got initially accepted into SMU for the spring semester. So that first semester, I was given the choice to either go abroad for the first semester or stay in Dallas and go take classes in order to do sorority recruitment and the things that I wanted to do. So I ended up doing that and just taking the 12 credits required, and then also had to maintain that PA requirement to transfer those over to SMU for the spring.
Okay, so a conditional admit, sometimes a college will say, yes, we want you to come to our university or college, but we want you to do something for one semester before you come to our college or university. So she was offered this conditional admit where she could choose either study abroad or take courses at Dallas College, earn a particular GPA, and then she would be considered a full-time SMU student. So SMU, if that's your dream school, that's a great way to do that. So I would encourage you, if you ever get a conditional admit or different colleges have different programs, consider them highly because they're a great stepping stone to get to where you want to be. So Shay, what is your learning difference and how do you access accommodations in college?
So I have short-term memory loss, auditory processing, and ADD. Excuse me. And at SMU, I actually was denied accommodations twice. So I currently don't have any, but I'm in the process of getting accommodations. They're a little bit harder to work with at SMU for accommodations. But if you advocate for yourself a lot and reach out, they're definitely willing to help you. And I've been trying for the whole semester, so finally they've kind of gave in, and now I'm getting them, but I think I'll only be able to get like a few, maybe extra time on tests.
Did you have to get retested in order to?
Yes.
Okay. So can you kind of talk about that? Did you get retested recently?
I got retested right before I went to SMU just to see if there were any more learning differences that I had gotten from when I was last tested here. And I came back with ADD. And then they take that into consideration as well.
So it sounds like you didn't accept no for an answer.
Yes.
Good for you. And that's what all of you should do as well. Advocate for yourself. All right. So Shay, tell us about the organizations that you participate in college.
So I am an SMU cheerleader. And I started that this year because I was a spring student last year. So I would have missed out on football season and half of basketball. So I waited it out for a year, but I knew I wanted to do it. I'm also a member of Kappa Alpha Theta. It's my sorority. And yeah, just those two.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of time.
Yes, it is a lot.
So how do you manage your time, your coursework with your extracurriculars?
So I just take every day like very slow, and like when you go to college, you don't realize how much time you do actually have in a day. Like I would go to class from 8 to 11, and then you have this year I would have from 11 to 2 until I would have practice to get all my work out of the way, study for my exams and all that stuff. And then after practice, I would practice for 2 hours a day, so at 4. I'd pretty much be done with my schoolwork by that point, and then I'm able to go and do the things that I want to do, be a part of my sorority, and actually be involved.
So it sounds like you just stay on top of it every day and just schedule study time throughout your day, every day. Okay, thanks, Shay. Okay, next is Max Ralston. Max is currently attending the University of Arizona. He's majoring in psychology. Max graduated from Shelton in 2020. What is your learning difference, and tell us about how you access accommodations in college?
So my learning differences are ADHD and auditory processing disorder. And to access my accommodations, I had to email the DRC, which is the Disability Resource Center. So basically, to get my accommodations, you fill out a form, you email the DRC. It's a little bit of a process, but and then they send out, they're like, give me the okay, and then I go on a website, I'm pretty sure it's on UAccess, and there's little check boxes. You check off your accommodations that you want for each class, and then the DRC sends an email to your professor, making sure it's okay for them to have the accommodation.
So you use something called the SALT Center, which we talked about was, the techniques program was actually modeled after the SALT Center at Arizona. So tell us a little bit about how the SALT Center works.
So the SALT Center is a place where you can get tutoring, and there's little breakout rooms, so if you want a quiet space to do your work, you can do it there. And then also there's drop-in tutoring and individual tutoring. So individual tutoring is usually an hour, and then drop-in tutoring, you just can go into this little building and just can be there the whole time with tutors, and I really recommend that, and yeah.
You were talking to us earlier about how you schedule your day. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about how you schedule your day to make sure that you're getting...
Yeah, so I usually wake up, get ready, and then go to the SALT Center. I'm usually there for 4 hours and kind of schedule out my day. If I get hungry, I'll go to the student union to get food. And then when I feel like the time to go, I leave.
Go to class. And then what organizations are you involved in?
So I'm a member of Alpha Epsilon Pi, and I'm a brother at large for that fraternity. And then I was in Blue Chip for my first 2 years, and I'm also in a psychology club.
Okay, what's Blue Chip?
So Blue Chip is an organization that focuses on a lot of problems in Tucson, Arizona. So for example, me and a couple of classmates had to come up with a solution to solve the water crisis involved in Arizona.
So what do you hope to do with your major when you graduate psychology?
So after I graduate, I want to go into personal therapy and probably go to grad school after college.
Okay. So one thing I wanted to mention too is Max participated in a specialized program at Beacon College. Beacon is a college that serves students that have learning differences. There are 2 colleges like that in the country, Beacon and Landmark. And so Max did a program through Beacon College that was a prep program before he went to college. So I believe you did that your whole senior year and then leading
that's
up
correct.
to. So what was that? How did that prep program help you?
So that prep program helped me with getting organized, just like to make sure I'm organized and prepared for college. Really helped me on my time management for classes, and also really prepared me on note taking and how to take efficient notes instead of taking the whole note thing in class. Like, make sure that like you make notes that are make sense for you.
Okay, good. Thank you, Max. Okay, and last but not least, Aaron Hoffman. Aaron is currently attending Austin College in Sherman, Texas. Aaron is double majoring in business administration and international economics and finance. He graduated from Shelton in 2019. Aaron, what's your learning difference, and tell us how you access accommodations in college?
Yeah, so my learning differences are ADHD and dysgraphia. And just to have your documentations in order to hand it over to the school, we have an academic skills center, place where to get tutoring, and they deal with your accommodations as well. So they were very easy.
You didn't have any trouble with accessing accommodations?
Not if you stay organized.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Staying, like as far as like scheduling
Exactly,
tests.
documents in order.
Okay.
Yep.
So Aaron spent his junior year in London, England at the London School of Economics. Tell us about that experience and how you ended up there.
Yeah, so quite frankly, that was the best year of my life. Highly recommend studying abroad if you can. I wasn't super happy in college. It was a little small for me, a little small town, and wanted to change, so I went to London, yeah.
And so what organizations have you been involved in at Austin College?
So I'm on the college soccer team, and then Greek life as well, so.
Okay. And then when do you graduate?
I graduated in May.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
And what do you hope to do when you graduate?
I'm going to go into commercial real estate brokerage. so,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Thank you, Aaron. All right, now I'm just going to ask some general group questions. So any of you, as you would like to answer, feel free to answer. So first of all, can you tell us, how did Shelton prepare you for college?
Shelton prepared me for college with the note taking. My teachers really got me in the habit of just taking efficient notes, and really got me well organized and to make sure to manage my time, and just to make sure even if you do have learning differences, you can always do it if you just put your mind to it.
Thank you. Go ahead, JD.
For me, it was like max time management because I did football here. That took a lot of time, so I had to plan out my day, and that really helps in college. Another thing that Shelton also did was it helped me get comfortable with the teachers and going up to them. In college, you're in a class with in your core class is 200 people usually. So sit up front and then go up to your teacher. They want to help you. And that's what Shelton's really good at. They want to help you. Get comfortable with your professors, and they'll help you. Maybe one time they'll give, if you're at 89.5, if you go up there, they know you're trying, they may be bumping up to 0.5, give you that A. And an A is really nice in college.
Okay, yeah. Parker.
So yeah, just really building off of what JD said, it's just really important to really, show your teachers that you really care. And I think a lot of that is just going up and talking to them and having, semblance of a relationship with them. I think that's one of the things that, Shelton really teaches you is to feel comfortable going up, talking to your teachers, and really advocating for what you need.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Girls? Go ahead, Maddie.
Based off what Parker and JD said, I think it's just as simple as sending an email to your professor. And I know it's a little scary coming from smaller classes. That was my biggest fear, but Shelton really helped me, learning that a lot of people like to say Shelton's easier, but really it's just at a different speed, and they taught us how to learn. I think Shelton just taught me how to learn the right way, to be honest.
Yeah, thank you. Hannah?
Like everyone else said, making friends with their teachers, because they will definitely help you out. Just make sure you're known in the classroom as well. Participate, and they'll know that you're there and actually trying to do your work.
Okay, good. Shay? Aaron?
I would just say time management is like the biggest thing that I got out of Shelton, just because, I mean, I'm involved in a lot, so being able to manage my time properly and stay ahead of school, I can definitely thank Shelton for.
And you were involved in a lot when you were here, too.
Yes, I was part of like anything I could try and get into.
Aaron?
Yeah, definitely time management, and then staying organized as well.
Okay, good. All right, now I'm going to ask you if you have any advice for our freshman through senior students that are here today. Maddie, hand up immediately.
I would say my biggest piece of advice, I know it sounds cliche, but really try to be yourself. I would say my biggest fear, especially going into Greek life, is to try to put on a front or be someone else. The most important thing is to be yourself so that people like you for who you are, and I wouldn't change at all.
Good, thank you. Parker?
So I'm being honest. Just try something new. You know, it's something that, you know, I'm sure you've been told by your parents or whoever your whole life, but it's one of those things in college, you know, like you're going to be trying a lot of new things. You're going to be exposing yourself to a lot of new things. And honestly, it's just going to grow you a lot as a person. So definitely, you know, don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone and try something new.
Shay?
I would just say, like, be involved with as much as you want in high school. Because, like, for me, at least, like, I was involved in a lot here. And I'm very grateful for that, because in college, there's not as many opportunities for that. So being involved and stuff like that is also really good to take on to college.
Good. Anybody else? Advice?
I'll go. Definitely meet people. That's a big, important aspect of college, because you'll have those friends for the rest of your life, mainly. I also would say get involved. Like, if you're into Greek life, be into Greek life. If you want to join a club, there's so many clubs. If you go to university, there's probably around 400 clubs. I think also that's always remember, just try your best in college. You'll always have ups and downs, and that's part of growing up. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, you're right. There's going to be ups and downs, and you just persevere and push forward. I love that each of you has gotten involved in different organizations and you've tried different things. I'm going to reframe that last question a little bit. Think about back when you were 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. Any advice that you would give thinking back on your high school days, maybe something you wish you had done or you wish you had tried or you would have spent more time on? Is there any advice that you can give to them as current high school students that you think would be helpful for them in moving forward to life after Shelton?
It's cliche as well, but work hard. The reality is that your grades matter, and it's not impossible. We're all up sitting here, graduating college in the next couple of years. It's not hard. You just have to put in the time and the effort. And anyone can do it. You can major in anything. You can, do anything. But yeah, it's all, you just have to work hard sometimes, and it pays off.
So I actually failed college algebra my freshman first semester, and again, like your professor, is a very big deal. But I used our tutoring center. It's called Champions Hall, and I went to tutoring 2 to 3 times a week. I worked very hard, but one thing I wish I did was remember all of the strategies we learned in high school. And I know it's hard to remember. There's so many numbers, but just try to keep in mind, because once you go back to college, you may have an older professor that uses a strategy that we never learned. So
getting that extra support was helpful to you for sure.
Definitely. And if you don't think that the professor's a fit for you, that's okay. But I would definitely go ahead of the game and try to figure out if you can switch. Don't wait.
Max?
Also, some advice I give, if you're worried about a major, like it's completely fine. I was undecided my freshman year. A lot of people are undecided their freshman year, and a lot of people change majors. So if you just don't have a passion at that time, it's okay to be undecided. But if there's something you are willing to put your work in for, pick that major. Like, don't pick something that you don't want to pursue a career in.
That's great advice. And I was going to ask you about if any of you had changed your majors and if you had to know exactly what you wanted to be when you grow up, when you started college. So did anyone else or did anyone change their major since they've started? Wow. Okay. That's unusual. Most kids will change it at least once, maybe a couple times. But that's great. If you go in knowing what you want to do, that's great. But for some students, you may not have a clue what you want to do when you go in, and that's okay. You might change your major, and you'll start meeting people, and you get involved in organizations, and you might have different ideas about what you're interested in, and that's okay too. So any other advice for our freshmen through senior students?
When you're in class, talk to the people dear to you, like especially in a hard class. Like for me, in one of my first classes ever, I didn't know anyone, so I literally just talked to my friend to the right, talked to the person to the right, connected instantly, got through the class. We both helped each other out, got through the class with an A, and he was the one who actually got me into Tie 100.9. He put in a good word. So just even in college, like get there a little early. Talk to the people near to you. You might find some common interest, and you might find a good friend.
That's great advice. Hey, any other final words or thoughts that you might want to share with this group? If you want.
I would say in high school I didn't really know what Greek life was, but my biggest piece of advice is when you're going to each house, if you do rush, is to focus on the girls that are like in line with you and not the house, and to remember that you're gonna be happy no matter where you end up.
That's good. Next.
Oh, also, if you're ever stressed, like it's okay to take a break. Like everyone takes a break. Like go for a walk, go get some food. Like everyone has that stressful day where they're so tensed up that they can hardly do work. Like it's okay to like take a breather or take a nap. Everyone does it.
Can anyone else speak to that, like mental health and stress and how to handle that in college?
Very, very much so. Very much so. Like you will have those days, especially like during exam week. December for me was just rough because I had all my exams, all my projects. One of those days, because I got everything done one of those days, and one day I just literally laid in my bed and just relaxed my mind, just calmed down, and that really just helped me reset, just get ready for the next wave of projects / exams.
Good advice.
Yeah, I'd say find something that you love, maybe outside of the classroom, or if you play sports outside of that, just where you can go and relax. Yeah. I love going to the lake and just sitting in a hammock. I think it's incredibly peaceful, and it's a great break. Soccer season is stressful, or when classes or exam period happens, and but it could be anything. So just find something, and it'll help you.
Shay?
I would just say, like, it's okay to not have, like, a good week or a good day in college. Like, there's going to be those days where, especially for me, like, recently, I had practice every single day. I have class all day long. I have meetings all night for my sorority. So it's just, I feel like I'm just, like, going. And it's okay that you can take a step back and just kind of lay everything out and just be like, okay, like, you got this. Just like in your mind, just kind of I don't know the word.
Give yourself a break.
Yeah, give yourself a break. Just like, you know you can do it, so just like, give yourself that.
As I said before, I'm still struggling with time management, but one thing I learned is that you have a lot of freedom in college, and to keep yourself busy is what helps me personally. But I would say if you're not a morning person, do not get in an 8 a.m. class, especially if it's a subject you're not good at, because it's hard to remember. So, yeah.
Max?
Also, like if you're ever just feeling so stressed and you talk to someone, like there are like mental health facilities like on universities. Also, like talk to your learning specialist how you're feeling. Like they're here for you. Like they want to get to know you. Like if you feel stressed, tell them that you're stressed. Don't keep it in.
Mm-hmm. I would say too, if you're currently, like for current seniors, if you're currently getting working with a psychologist or psychiatrist and getting therapy, I would be sure that you continue that next year, either through a Zoom call or set it up in advance before you go there, because that is an accommodation that you're receiving for stress management, and that will be helpful as you transition to this new journey that you'll be on. Okay, anybody else on stress or mental health? Okay. All right. Well, students, if you have a specific question for any of these panelists, feel free to email me, and I will be sure to pass along their email address, if that's okay with all of you. And then you can ask them specific questions, either about their school or about their program or anything that they may have said today. And I just want to thank you all so much for coming and being a part of our panel. We wish you well, and we're so proud of each of you. You make us so, so proud. I'm super excited that you all have gotten involved and that you're living your best life. You're doing well. So as a token of our appreciation, we have a small gift for you to take with you so that you can remember us fondly and come back often.
Okay, guys, and excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, as you can imagine, this is not easy to do. You have done an amazing job. Every time we do this, the kids that we invite to come back and speak to our student body, they're nervous, as you can imagine. And when you guys got in here, you sat down and you started speaking from the heart, which is exactly what you all needed to hear. So another huge round of applause for these kids. Thank y'all. Ms. Knox, do an amazing job. Thank you for organizing and thank you for moderating. At this time, we're going to go ahead and ask and thank, first of all, our parents for joining us. But before the rush of kids tries to get out of here, you're welcome if you'd like to get a head start on heading down the hall. Thank you so much for your support and for being here with us.